A show created by the fans, for the fans. We are your home for Ohio State football coverage all year long. The Scarlet and Gray Podcast, a Network 216 production. Live weekdays on the Network 216 YouTube channel. Send us all your questions and comments on Twitter at @VSG_podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Tyler Johnson, Jordan Dalton, and Nick Leisure.
Good morning, Buckeye Nation. Welcome to another Ohio State Game Day preview as the Buckeyes are taking on the Purdue Boilermakers today at 12 o'clock. I am Tyler Johnson, joined by Nick Leisure. Nick, how you doing this morning, my man? I'm not nervous. We've had some crazy things happen in West Lafayette the last few times we've gone there. How you feeling this morning?
I mean, I hate going to West Lafayette, but for some reason, we love to lose over there. But, 19.5-point favorites today, just like we were last week against Maryland. So, I mean, Vegas is going all in on the Buckeyes to win today. But, yeah, I mean, I'm feeling good, though. I mean, Travion back, Emeka Ibuka, still up in the air. We haven't heard anything yet, so still kind of waiting. But overall, I'm ready to go. I'm excited.
Yeah, man, me too. There's going to be a lot to talk about for sure. Again, guys, this could be kind of a shorter game day preview. The main reason is Purdue, obviously we know they're not that good, but also they don't have a lot of really star names to talk about here.
Yep.
But, of course, before we get into any of that, as always, drop a like on today's video. We really appreciate every time you do that. It really helps more than you guys know because it helps that YouTube algorithm grow for Network 216. But also, just subscribing to the channel, which you can do for free, really enters you in for any exclusive giveaways that we have available only to our YouTube subscribers. We're on the road to 3,000, trying to reach 3,000 before the end of the year. We can't get there without your help. And as always, the Scarlet and Gray Podcast Network 216 is proud to be a partner with Homage Athletic Apparel. And right now, take advantage of any offer as a new customer for Homage. All you have to do, enter your email address. You'll get a 15% off your first order. They have gear for the Scarlet out next weekend at the Shoe against Penn State. Go get your gear. You better hurry and order it now because you want to make sure you have it before next Saturday.
Hey, and not only about that Scarlet out, they have some sick Halloween T-shirts of various Halloween movies. I just bought a cool Chucky one. So they got some really cool stuff for whatever you need.
Yeah, absolutely. I know it's a great point with Halloween right around the corner. All right, let's get into Purdue a little bit here. Now, Purdue is not very good. I mean, if you look at their record, they're 2-4 this year. They have really underperformed. I actually thought Purdue was going to be decent this year because they have been the last couple of years with Aiden O'Connell as a quarterback. He's gone. They no longer have him anymore. They lost to Fresno State in a close game, but Fresno State's actually proven to be pretty good this year. They beat Virginia Tech. We know Virginia Tech, though, is not that good, but they still went at Virginia Tech and won. They lost to Syracuse at home. They got blown out by Wisconsin and Syracuse. They crushed Illinois, which I have to admit surprised me.
Yeah.
And then they barely lost at Iowa. On paper, though, Purdue is not that good. They don't produce a lot of big plays, but when they're at home, the Buckeyes, the last 4 matches that Ohio State has played at West Lafayette, the Buckeyes are 1-3. 1-3 at Purdue. So in this game, what's going for the Buckeyes is this is a day game. Because in the past, this game has actually been a night game for Purdue. So the Buckeyes are going to go in the afternoon to West Lafayette. First off with this Purdue team, Nick, what do they have to do, you think, in order to have a chance in this game? I know it begins and ends with Texas transfer Hudson Card at quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was about to get to. It's going to come down to Card and how he performs. I mean, I remember last year watching him when Quinn Ewers went down against Alabama in that Texas-Alabama game last year, and Card came in and he played well. He's definitely He's a mobile guy. He's got 3 rushing touchdowns on the year. He's got over 50 rushing attempts. Not a lot of yards. I think he's only got like 33 yards rushing on the year. But, I mean, he definitely is a threat throwing the ball as well. But, I mean, it's just going to come down to how he performs in this Buckeye defense. The offense is going to do its thing. I know Purdue, they have a couple players on defense that are decent. They have a true freshman linebacker. They kind of line him up all over the place. He's got a couple interceptions, especially last week. But I think it's just going to come down to how Hudson Card performs and how well he plays. I think he's thrown 6 touchdowns on the year, but he's also thrown 5 interceptions. So he's prone to turning the ball over. And as you saw last week, the Buckeyes had 2 interceptions in that ball game. So hopefully the corners and safeties can get some more hands on balls and get a couple turnovers.
Yeah, absolutely. Hudson Card, he's got nearly 1,500 yards passing, but the interceptions are not good. He's taken 14 sacks this year. You can get some pressure on him, which the Buckeyes should be able to do. I think that's going to go in their favor a lot. You mentioned on defense, it begins and ends with Dylan Thiemann, and I might have pronounced his name wrong, but he does have 53 total tackles this year, 41 solos. He does have 3 interceptions too. They actually have him listed as a DB, but I assume he plays the same role basically that Sonny Styles does for the Buckeyes. Going to move him all around the field. He's their top playmaker on the defensive side of the ball. Going into this game, it looks like we are going to have Travion Henderson back, according to Ryan Day. We don't know about Emeka Egbuka because obviously we're recording this early in the morning, so we don't know on his status yet. If Emeka can't go today, who do you expect to step into the starting lineup for the Buckeyes? Do you think it is going to be Carnell Tate, or do you think we see a rotation of maybe Jaden Ballard, Brandon Enos? Do you see some of those other guys getting some reps there, or is this going to be, you think, they're going to throw Carnell Tate in there and he's going to be the main guy?
I think it's Carnell Tate. I mean, you saw it last week. He was the first one to get the nod after Emeka got hurt. So I think it's Carnell Tate's job to lose. But, I mean, obviously, like you said, I mean, Jalen Ballard and Brandon Enos, we haven't really seen them this year yet on the field. So, I mean, I think hopefully this game is out of hand by, third quarter. So then Devin Brown and then Enos and Ballard, they can get some playing time, and hopefully we can kind of just see what these backups have, because, I mean, who knows down the road if there's more injuries, God forbid, that you want these guys to be ready to go. But I think it's Carnell Tate's job to lose.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that. I would love to see Brandon Enos in this game because a lot of people forget that he actually was the top recruit in the Ohio State's class. And the reason I think we're not hearing more about him, he did enroll late. I think that kind of hurt him a little bit. But, I mean, he's a 5-star. He is going to get an opportunity at some point. Whether it's this year remains to be seen. But Carnell Tate's taken full advantage of enrolling early, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
In this game, what do you want to see? Because, I mean, the Buckeye defense, we think they're going to do their job today. I think they've been performing really well this year. They've had some tough tests, but they have come out and played pretty well, prevented the big play, which is exactly what you want to see. The Buckeye offense, though, struggled a little bit last week against Maryland. What do you want to see this week from the offense, and what do we have to do in order to win this game?
I just want to see a fast start. I mean, honestly, we haven't seen a fast start all season long. So I would really love to. Let's say the Buckeyes get the ball first. I'd really love for them just to go down, march down the field, and score a touchdown right at the gate, and kind of set the tone for the rest of the ball game. We just haven't seen it yet. We've touched on how the lack of running game has really hurt Ohio State, and we really haven't, faced a very great opponent other than Notre Dame, obviously. But I think you really just got to let the pass open up the run. I know we talk about that off the air a lot, but I really think you just got to let Kyle McCord just kind of sling it around and hit guys that are open. I mean, I know Stover, Harrison, those guys are both having great seasons so far. So you just got to continue to feed those guys early, and then once that defense is tired and they just kind of forget about the run game, you hit Travion for a 50-yard run or something like that. So I really just want to see him kind of establish the pass early, maybe do some tempo early on, because that's when Kyle seems to thrive the best. So I'd love to see tempo in the first quarter and just kind of see what they can do.
Yeah, and you have to get Kyle McCord in rhythm early in this game. Let him open up this game for Travion Henderson and Chip Trainum. I think that's the key to this. You also have to see a better performance from this offensive line. If this offensive line looks like they did next week, I still think the Buckeyes are going to win, but it's going to be really tough. It's just going to look really bad, and it's going to worry you going into Penn State next week and just the rest of the year. But anyway, the Buckeyes are favored by a lot in this game. But, however, this trip always gives the Buckeyes problems. It's rare that it doesn't. So that being said, do you think the Buckeyes cover the spread this week? And what's your prediction, score prediction for this game?
I think they will cover. I know Ohio State, they just went on to fall break. So today was an off day academically for the Buckeyes. Well, this past couple of days was an off day for the Buckeyes. So, I mean, they've had some time to prepare. They've been practicing earlier on in the day, trying to set them up for these noon games. So they'll have, after this game, they'll play at noon again next week. So that'll be 3 noon games in a row. So they kind of get in that routine of being at noon. So I think that kind of plays the Buckeyes' advantage. But I think they cover. I'm going to say score this today. I'm going to say 38-13. I think Buckeyes take care of business. They cover the spread. But, Purdue, I think they score a touchdown maybe early and then just a couple field goals later on in the game. But I think 38-13 for the Buckeyes today.
Yeah, I do believe they're going to cover, even though, funny enough, I don't believe the Buckeyes has covered yet this year, besides maybe Notre Dame.
They covered against Maryland.
They did cover. Oh, my
covered
goodness.
At the last minute. Yeah,
they did. Oh, man, I forgot. They did cover.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, you know what? They're going to cover again this week. I think Buckeyes offense is going to come out and hopefully make a statement, especially in the passing game. Ease Travion Henderson into this game, especially if he isn't still 100%.
For sure.
So I want to see that. I think the defense is going to do their job. One thing they've been doing a great job of is preventing that big play. Purdue is one of the worst teams in college football as far as big play production. So favors into the Buckeyes' hands today. So I'm going to go Ohio State 42, and I got Purdue 17. The reason I got that, I think Purdue is going to get a touchdown early, and that'll be it. It'll be like Maryland last week. They'll get a touchdown, and then after that, it's going to slow down, and then the Buckeyes are going to get up big in the fourth quarter. Penn State will get some garbage points. So
you know what? To be honest with you, I'm just glad that Purdue doesn't have Rondale Moore anymore. So
or David Bell.
Yeah, exactly. Because for some reason the Buckeyes didn't know how to tackle Rondale Moore, and that game was a nightmare.
Oh,
but
that was painful. I still remember that game.
I think Buckeyes cover big today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, thank you for tuning into this Ohio State game day preview versus Purdue. As a reminder, always drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're brand new to Network 216. This has been episode 31 of Scarlet and Gray Podcast. We will be back next week to recap Ohio State and Purdue and talk the latest from around college football. Can't wait to talk to you guys all again soon. And as always,